KKHT wants you to meet three of the classiest guys in real estate.
I am Chris Kelso, the maestro of mortgage.
I am Rob Cook, the godfather of real estate.
And I'm Joe Orsack, the king of credit swing. And together, we're
the Real Estate Rat Pack.
Much like us, real estate right now is smoking hot. So whether it's buying, selling, or owning, you need to check out the Real Estate Rat Pack.
They're here to take your calls and answer your questions live. Call now, 1-800-808-5548. And now, the Real Estate Rat Pack.
And let me tell you, good morning, everybody. How's everyone doing?
For Joe over here.
That's
Exactly. Beautiful morning, great day.
I come in here, get all hopped up on donuts and coffee. Go home and have a sugar crash.
I think there's something else you get hopped up on, but you know it's radio right now, so we got to keep it clean.
Chris and Joe, we got a lot of people. They actually chased people out of the studios. We had so many people here.
They
today.
did actually.
Yes.
They asked us to remove a few, which is always a good thing, not a bad thing, because we have such a packed show today. We're going to be talking about new versus resale. Let me tell you, it's a great subject matter. We got some great guests in studio today. We're going to start off by one of our great sponsors that we actually have. We have Capital Title in the house, and representing Philip Scalise. Philip, how you doing there, buddy?
Jump over here and say hello.
I'm good, Chris. How you doing this morning?
Man, I am doing very good. Let us know a little bit about Capital Title, if you don't mind.
Capital Title, actually, we're the largest independently owned title company in Texas. We have over 52 locations throughout the state, and we have 5 locations throughout the Houston area, and obviously we're here to serve. So.
Oh, I can imagine. The other thing that you guys have, and let me tell you, you got some of the most beautiful facilities I've ever seen that you are opening up all around Houston, and one of the people who can actually vouch for how good those facilities are actually a guest that you brought on today. Can you introduce them for me?
I did. I brought Doug Erdy with Keller Williams Realty from Northeast Houston. Doug, how you doing, man?
Great. Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me.
And we're excited to have you on. Doug is a well-known top producer in the Kingwood area, so we're extremely excited to have him on. And so today we're going to talk about resale versus new home sales. Now, Doug, you do both, do you not?
Do both. We love selling new and resale.
And so when you are first getting a buyer client, and they're saying, you know what, I'm equivocating. I don't know if I should go the resale route or go the new home route. How do you kind of get them through that process as to which direction to head?
Well, you really got to find out what's in their head. If they're wanting a low-maintenance home, they don't want a lot of issues with repairs and so forth, we try to steer them to a newer home. A lot of folks have that mindset that they want to avoid anything that could go wrong with them.
So they want something that has some existing warranties and things of that nature that they can say, you know what, we don't nothing's going to be perfect, but we have something to fall back on.
Yes.
And so you might take them to a new home, like our other sponsor, Ian, who just happens to be in the room too.
Shameless plug.
Well, it's a very shameless
we're
plug.
going to give more shameless plugs than the thing.
I have a question just to jump in on this. We were talking about this on the way up in the elevator. So not everybody was privy to this conversation. But there was a book out there that I read a good while back by Thomas J. Stanley, called The Millionaire Mind. And it talks about the makeup of what the average millionaire looks like in America and that type of thing. And it's very different from what the average person would think about. They don't live the lavish lifestyle that a lot of people assume or connect with being a millionaire.
Right.
And one of the things that they identified relevant to this show, new versus resale, was that the average millionaire doesn't purchase in the new home. No offense, Gian. They purchase in well-established neighborhoods that have predictable growth rates and that type of thing. But one of the things I was curious about from a Houston standpoint is that, which may be a little bit different now with what's going on in the market here in Houston, is, there's been explosive growth in other markets in California and Florida and all those types of things where we saw the 20 and 30% increase year over year to the value of the home. And that traditionally hasn't been Houston. That we've had a much more low but stable kind of growth rate. And there's pockets in Houston, that type of thing. But is that more, do you see that? That's, as an expert in the subject here in real estate, do you see people that make those kind of decisions or are looking at, from an investment standpoint, not necessarily buying an investment property, but just their own home? Does that ever come up on the radar when they're looking at purchasing? They're saying, well, what's the growth rate been in this area, that type of thing?
Oh, yeah. Most buyers, we like to think that they are in it for 5 to 6 years. The average person moves every 5 or 6 years. So we're thinking that at least we can get 3 to 4% appreciation every year over that time period. And in Houston, we've always seen very, very slow growth, but we don't see the downturns like the rest of the country.
We never had a bubble burst because we never had a bubble.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And one of the things to speak about what Joe's speaking with, I mean, Doug, you're up in the Kingwood area. I think it bodes very well with what you were talking. Kingwood is a nice, established community. It has a lot of neat areas up there. I mean, you've got your new sell areas, right? You've got the Oakhurst and you've got Eagle Springs, but you also have Kingwood proper and some of the established areas. What are let's take it down from a micro perspective. What are some of the things that you're seeing in that area and how people are defining their buying patterns right now?
Well, we go right to Exxon. Exxon is creating a buying frenzy throughout Kingwood and the Woodlands area. Right now, you can't find a home in the Woodlands.
It's their fault.
Yeah.
Evil oil companies.
Yeah.
Now we've isolated it.
Yeah, it goes right back to the oil industry, and there's just all the suppliers that are coming in that are following Exxon. You can't find a home in the Woodlands, so they're going right to Kingwood and Eagle Springs and the Atascocita area. So we're getting that spillover effect that's just creating a great buying opportunity and a great selling opportunity as well.
And and you mentioned obviously ExxonMobil. They're going to continue to build obviously the Grand Parkway, which is going to be a very easy commute. In the future, but it's not that bad right now. I mean, right now, literally speaking, you can get to the Woodlands in a matter of 20 minutes, through a nice back road that gets you there with relatively ease.
I want the Houston police to be aware of that. We are 45 minutes from Woodlands right here, and he can make it in 20, so you might be looking out for a little,
Oh, trust me, I've got no problem with that.
I almost don't want to, it's like 59 is the best kept secret in Houston. It's an awesome freeway. Compared to every other major freeway out there, it's the best. So it's like I don't even want to talk about the good traffic going out there to Humboldt Kingwood area. It's terrible. Nobody moves out there. It's terrible.
Yeah, I'm sure your Sugarland people will think opposite of that, right?
Yeah, right.
Now, Doug, you deal with a lot of people coming in from out of the city, and they're coming into town, and you were talking about Exxon, but I'm sure there's people from all over the country coming in, and they decide Kingwood is an area they want to be. And how do you counsel them when you have to explain to them that you see a resale, you can make an offer on it today, and make an offer maybe over list? I mean, tell me how that conversation goes.
If you wait a day, you're too late. We're seeing multiple offers on homes that we've never seen like this in Houston in 30 years. If you see something you like, your agent shows you a home, 2 or 3 homes, and you like one of them really a lot, and you better jump on it. Make a good offer on it. Don't try to lowball it.
Now you do a lot of listing, and you even mentioned to me the other day that you try to keep 100 listings on hand, but you're not even able to do that right now.
Mm-mm. No, we normally carry 70 to 100 listings, and we're right now at 40. So we're half of our inventory. We need more sellers.
And I think that's very interesting. On the new versus resale model that we're talking about right now. I mean, one of the things that we've been seeing is there's a lack of inventory. I mean, if you look at the national numbers here in Houston via HAR, I think we have less than 3 months worth of inventory.
3.5 if you take the overall city, but you get into Katy and areas like that, it's
less
under
than a
1 month.
That is correct. It's less than a month. So, you start looking at stuff like that, and we always preach here is if you're looking, right now we're in the summertime, if you're looking at putting your home on the market, if you're looking at selling or relocating or moving, now is the time to do it. Now is definitely the time to get with somebody like Doug Erdy, with Doug Erdy team, and get that home listed on the market, because let me tell you, it's a hot market, multiple listings, great opportunity to take advantage of that.
And that's a great segue into a question I've been thinking about, is that they go buy a new Gian home, and it's in just the dirt stage or maybe even the slab stage, and then you go to put their home on the market, and they sell it in 3 hours.
Yeah.
And the people who are buying it want to close in 45 days. What do you tell them?
Well, we try to find them a temporary living of an apartment, or it's a good problem to have, though. That's great.
That's good.
I always think it's a really good problem to have, because it used to be the concern was a couple of years ago is, I wonder if I can sell my home on time to get into my new home that I'm building. And now the new consensus is, I've got to move somewhere. I've got to move twice. But you know what? There's worse things to have in life than moving twice, especially in the real estate market.
Yeah. When you're taking out and showing new construction, are you finding available inventory? You're still having some shortages there as well that you're seeing?
We're seeing a lot of shortages. The builders just can't build enough right now for us. And really, the bigger question is the builders can't find the lots or the land to build the lots on. The land is just really restricted right now in Houston with availability. So I think there's a lot of builders that would love to build more lots, but they just can't find the land.
No, I would absolutely agree. You know, one of the things, in fact, that we knew this was coming a little while back was whenever the boom hit or the bubble hit in 2008, all of a sudden the developers didn't buy as much land in 2009, 2010, 2011. And it takes years to develop these subdivisions, especially to start getting them platted out and get the roads in, et cetera.
A lot of it had to do with financing as well, because they couldn't get money from the banks anymore. No banks
correct.
all of a sudden started, not doing projects, and even though they were getting stimulus money, they weren't putting it out into the community. So they're putting it into their passive investment. So what happens is we had, I saw this happen in the 80s, where we didn't build for a good period of time, and then when things turned around, there was nothing. And I think we're seeing the same thing. This is not. I've never seen it this short of inventory in my 32 years ever. And
wow.
And Doug, how long have you been in the business?
13 years.
13 years.
Yeah.
So you've seen a couple of cycles too.
Yep.
And have you ever seen anything quite like this?
Never. We love it though.
There's nothing really to complain about, right?
No.
Well, I mean, it really. Somebody posed the question to me here recently that I don't think it's ever been considered in Houston. With we went through this whole boom cycle, and it was created for a different reason. But with the whole 2005 to that range time frame with the no doc loans and all this sort of thing, it was entry point was a lot easier, which I think falsely created a boom. But
right.
Somebody said, are we worried about repeating that with the prices being driven up because of the demand so quickly? I don't think that's ever been considered here in Houston, that we've had that kind of an issue where you're getting offers. We had a realtor on the show that said that they listed a house and had 60-something showings over the weekend. Just put it on the market and had 60-something showings over the weekend. That's just mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, and that brings up something else when you talk about the bubble, because what you're saying, Doug, is that you're getting probably offers on your listings that are over list price. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're getting offers that are well above it.
And this is happening over and over again. And Chris, I know you're seeing this in your application and stuff. The appraisals aren't getting there, and that's something you won't probably deal with new construction, is the appraisal, because they've already got some established prices in there.
Well, and you're right. The appraisals are still, it's one of the things. Fortunately, we're in Houston. The appraisal you still have to deal with when you're buying a home. It's sort of that mechanism to keep the market honest, is what I tell everybody. Now, a lot of times, don't get me wrong, we all don't like the appraisals come back. We all have a reason why we want the value to be higher, right? But at the same time, the appraisers have to abide by a certain market standard. They have to go by certain rules to be able to measure and monitor what that market value is. And then more importantly is individuals like myself and Doug and you, et cetera, can't have communication with that appraiser to influence that appraisal anymore. So it's really sort of a third-party, honest opinion of value that's being put out there. And that's sort of what is keeping some people from bidding some prices which are absolutely crazy.
Yeah, but I've seen some deals. Have you had some deals fall out because of appraisals?
We've had a few, not that many, what you'd think, but yeah, we've seen a few.
I've heard so many people saying that here's the appraisal and here's the offer over it, and they're just paying $30,000 cash. Yeah, here you go.
Not everybody can do that.
Yeah.
Doug, one question I was going to ask you, and especially since we're coming against time right now, how can we reach you and your team?
The best way is go to the internet, our website, DougErdy.com. That's our amazing website that we have, and
it is very good.
Yeah, it's just DougErdy.com.
And that is DOUGERDY, DougErdy.com. You can also reach him at 832-265-1954.
Yes, that's correct.
Give them a call, especially if you're out there in the Kingwood area. And one other thing really fast, Doug, let us know how much you like closing at Capital Title, if you don't mind.
We love it.
Yes,
hey,
shameless plug.
Philip is awesome. His staff and the facilities are amazing. So
just to reiterate, we always have a lot of fun on the show. We're silly, but we bring experts on here, and it's not a coincidence that we bring on the top guy from my side of town here, Mr. Doug Erdy, but that he works with the people that we have in the studio here. It's always a testimony to that quality. So we got to hit a break. We're going to be right back shortly here. Give us a call, 800-808-5548. We'll be right back.